Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to an impromptu video that I wasn't expecting to do on the channel this weekend. Obviously, there's a lot of talk and stuff going on about the new Smashing Pumpkins album coming out this weekend. I did a rock album review for that here on the channel that you can check out now. But this news just dropped on Friday night, talking about Aerosmith, one of my favorite bands of all time. Aerosmith are going to be retiring from the road, from touring permanently. This was going to be their last tour, that they were actually just on tour with the Black Crowes across North America, and it sounds like they're going to be canceling the rest of that tour. The band released a statement online today that I'll read for you here from Aerosmith, from their camp. And it says, "It was 1970 when a spark of inspiration became Aerosmith. Thanks to you, our Blue Army, that spark caught flame and has been burning for over 5 decades. Some of you have been with us since the beginning, and all of you are the reason we made rock and roll history. It has been the honor of our lives to have our music become a part of yours. In every club, on every massive tour, and at moments grand and private, you have given us a place in the soundtrack of your lives. We've always wanted to blow your mind when performing, and as you know, Steven's voice is an instrument like no other." That is an understatement there. "He has spent months tirelessly working on getting his voice to where it's become before his injury. We've seen him struggling despite having the best medical team by his side, but sadly, it's clear that a full recovery from his vocal injury is not possible. We have made a heartbreaking and difficult but necessary decision as a band of brothers to retire from the touring stage. We are grateful beyond words for everyone who has pumped to get on the road with us one last time. Grateful to our expert crew, our incredible team, and the thousands of talented people who've made our historic runs possible. A final thank you to you, the best fans on the planet Earth. Play our music loud, now and always. Dream on. You've made our dreams come true." And that is the statement from Aerosmith about retiring from the road. And I found this news to be really, really shocking because these guys have been at it for so long. And it's really, really sad to hear that they're going to have to retire from the road. Steven Tyler incurred an injury on his voice. I think it was last year or back in 2022 that prevented the band from hitting the road. And then he went through a little bit of a recovery process that resulted in him getting back on the road with the band. But obviously he's not able to do it anymore. And that is really sad news because it's funny with Aerosmith. Like, I guess I got to say with Aerosmith, everybody knows that I love Oasis. You know, I got all my Oasis posters up here in the room. Everybody knows that Oasis is my favorite band of all time. But Aerosmith was actually my first real favorite band that I listened to when I was younger. In the early 1990s, when I was about 10, 11 years old, I remember seeing Aerosmith videos on Much Music, which was the big music channel here in Canada, seeing Aerosmith videos from the Get a Grip record. So seeing those videos like Living on the Edge, Crying, Crazy, Amazing, that album in particular, Get a Grip. I know that was the second kind of wind of Aerosmith because they were obviously popular in the 70s. They had some difficulties with addiction in the 70s and the 80s. They came back with Permanent Vacation, which was their comeback record. I believe that came out in 1984. I was a little bit young for it when I was born in 83, so a little bit young for it when that record came out. But I was primed when Aerosmith released Get a Grip, and I became such a huge Aerosmith fan as a kid. I got into Get a Grip. I love that record. Went and listened to the past albums, Pump and Permanent Vacation. Dude Looks Like a Lady was one of my favorite songs of all time. When I had to do a music project in grade 6, I had to do a project talking about everybody had to pick a band or an artist that they really loved to talk about and play a song in class. And I picked Aerosmith. I brought in the tape, or maybe my Big One CD, because I had the greatest hits Big Ones on CD. Maybe I brought that in and I put that on and played Dude Looks Like a Lady for the entire class and talked about Aerosmith and how much I loved them. And then they were the first concert that I ever went to. Aerosmith was the first concert that I ever went to in 1998 at Copps Coliseum see him here in Hamilton, Ontario. Fuel opened up the show, and then Aerosmith played, and they played every single hit that I wanted to hear, every single hit that I grew up with. It was an incredible show. Obviously, Steven Tyler is an incredible vocalist, and that's the thing about Steven Tyler that I want to say too is I'm a singer, okay, and I could never do what he could do. But as far as singers go, when I think about the great singers of all time, I feel like he's actually very underrated. And the thing is that nobody in the rock and roll world, you can toss anybody's name at me, nobody in the rock and roll world can match what Steven Tyler has done with his vocals over the years. He has an unmatched range and ability in terms of his vocal style. He's just absolutely amazing. I've always looked up to him, even though I can never. Aerosmith's one of those uncoverable bands for me. I can never really sing Aerosmith songs, not in the way that he can. He's made it very difficult for people to cover Aerosmith. They're one of those uncoverable classic rock bands. You want to give me Zeppelin? Sure. You want to give me the Rolling Stones? Sure, I'll cover that shit for you. Beatles? No problem. But Aerosmith, that is a tall order, and that is because of Steven Tyler's incredible, unmatchable voice. So it is such a tragedy that they have to get off the road and that he's had so much trouble with his voice because he doesn't deserve that. He deserves to be singing as long as he possibly can. And it's unbelievable that he's not going to be able to go on the road anymore and tour, because I do think he has one of the greatest voices. If I don't want to say the greatest, because that would be a big statement to make, but definitely one of the greatest voices in rock and roll of all time. Aerosmith had one of my favorite cameos in Wayne's World 2. We're not worthy. That whole scene with them backstage in Wayne's World 2, and when they show up at Wayne Stock at the end of the movie and they play Shut Up and Dance, always want to be one of my favorite scenes in all of Hollywood movies and Hollywood comedies and rock and roll movies. And so for me, it's very, very sad to hear that the band is going to be off the road. I don't really see how they could find a path forward to make any more music in the studio. I'm trying to think of the last, Music from Another Dimension that came out in 2011 was their last real studio record, which is a great record. If that's going to be their final creative effort, that was a good record to go out on. Just Push Play was really good. I'm going to have to go back and maybe just go back and dig back into that Aerosmith discography, listen to some of those 70s and 80s albums, and really just take it in, because before Oasis was my favorite band over here, Aerosmith was my favorite band, and I just wanted to do a quick video talking about them retiring from touring, which I think is just awful that that's the way that the band has to go out, because they were really, really one of the great rock and roll bands of our time. They're still going to keep going. They're still with us. Nobody's left us just yet. But it's really sad that we're not going to be able to see Aerosmith live anymore. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're sad about Aerosmith and Steven Tyler, what's such an amazing voice. One of the best voices in all of rock and roll. You can't really do what he can do on vocals. So it's going to be missed. And it's just really unmatched in the world of rock and roll with Steven Tyler. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. That'd be cool as well. And we'll talk again for another video here on the channel. Aerosmith forever. Love that band. And we'll see you guys again for another video here on the channel. Until then, rock on, everybody.